everybody. Today we are talking about VA loans, and there's 3 questions we get a lot from people about buying a house with a VA loan. They are, how do VA loans differ from conventional loans? What are the fees associated with VA loans? And do I need to get a home inspection since an inspection is part of the VA appraisal? So that's what we're talking about. And by the way, our contact information is below. And if you'd like to learn about the Eastern Panhandle in West Virginia, consider subscribing and be sure to contact us if you're looking to move this way. So first question, how do VA loans differ from conventional loans? VA loans have more lenient credit and down payment requirements. In fact, the biggest advantage of a VA loan is that it allows veterans to buy a home with no down payment. Also, VA loans typically offer competitive interest rates, and they do not require private mortgage insurance, PMI. And that's usually a requirement for conventional loans, or any loan really, with less than a 20% down payment. And PMI can be a few $100s a month. So also, you can't use the VA loan for anything other than your primary residence. Like, for example, you can't use it to buy investment properties. So the big advantage over a conventional loan is the zero down option with no PMI. But there are closing costs, and there are fees associated with a VA loan. And that brings us to the second question, what fees are required with a VA loan? And the big one is the funding fee, and that's required unless you are disabled. VA loans are guaranteed by the Department of Veterans Affairs, so they charge a fee to help fund that guarantee. So if a borrower defaults on the loan, the lender is protected because the VA guarantees the loan. How much the funding fee will be depends primarily on the amount you put down and the price of the house. And that fee can be pretty hefty if you are putting less than 5% down. So for first-time buyers that put zero down, it's a 2.15%, and that's 2.15% of the cost of the house. So for a $300,000 house, that's $6,450. If you put 10% or more down, it's 1.25% of the sales price, and that's going to be $3,750. And you can pay that fee up front as part of your closing cost, or you can roll it into the loan amount. This chart shows the funding fee percentages for each down payment category. Aside from the funding fee, there's going to be standard closing costs like appraisal fees, credit report fees, title insurance, any discount points you want to pay, and loan origination fees. And so those fees are similar to what you'd encounter with a conventional loan, except the VA limits the lender origination fee to 1% or less. There are some fees the VA will not allow a borrower to pay, realtor fees, for example, and that's usually paid by the seller anyway in this area. Also, a rate lock fee. And just like conventional loans, you can request in your offer that the seller contribute to your closing costs. If you do that, you probably need to boost up the sales price in your offer, because the seller is going to look at the bottom line, your net offer, sales price minus any money you are asking him to contribute. Here's a question we get quite a bit. Do I need to get a separate home inspection since the VA appraisal includes an inspection that is more robust than a conventional appraisal? And that's true. A VA appraisal is supposed to ensure that the property meets the VA minimum property requirements, MPRs, to be eligible for a VA loan. And these requirements are set by the Department of Veterans Affairs. And here's what the appraiser is supposed to verify in a home. Any safety hazards like faulty electrical systems, exposed wiring, structural issues with the roof, foundation, the walls, adequate sanitation like functioning toilets, a safe water supply, proper waste disposal. The home must have a reliable heating system in place, and utilities such as electricity, gas, and water need to be in good working order. The VA also requires a pest inspection. So those are the things a VA appraiser is supposed to check out. The appraiser may recommend repairs in order for the loan to be approved, or the loan could be turned down by the lender if it's just a huge amount of problems are cited on the appraisal. So with that kind of appraisal, should you also hire a licensed home inspector to check out the house? You know, I think it's a good idea because some VA appraisers are less thorough than others, and you don't have any control over who the appraiser is going to be, and you won't be able to attend the appraisal. So you won't know how good of a job he did. When you hire your own inspector, you can get recommendations and then hire who you think is best. You can attend that inspection and ask questions. Plus, it's going to be a more thorough inspection, giving you information about the house that you just won't get from the VA appraisal. On a home inspection, there's usually a lot of small items that you may not necessarily ask the seller to fix, but they're good to know and can be included on your honey-do list. And we all have one of those running most of the time. Plus, you'll get information like things that are not necessarily a problem now, but you should monitor. When we bought our house, the home inspector pointed out that the pipes under our sink weren't well insulated. They could maybe freeze in the winter, so we wrapped them in foam to prevent that. Sometimes those little things are really good to know. So I think it's a very good idea to hire your own inspector. You'll learn a lot more about the house. So the benefits of a VA loan are the option to pay zero down without PMI, less strict credit requirements, and more competitive interest rates. The downside, I think, is that funding fee amount. It just seems high to me. And even though the VA appraisal includes an inspection with NPRs, it still is a good idea to pay for a separate home inspection. Okay, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for tuning in. If you are considering moving to this area and haven't done so, be sure to download the relocation guide. It's at meetmeinthepanhandle.com/relocation guide. And that link is also in the description below. And there's a video over there you might find interesting. It's about what is required to be disclosed. Okay, thanks for tuning in. I will see you next week. Have a great week.